the world seems pretty crazy, doesn't it? And it is, but there are a lot of good things happening in the world too that don't get near as much airtime, and so I thought I really wanted to put together these happy news videos and do them at least once a month, maybe eventually even weekly, just to share more inspiring and encouraging content rather than all the doom and gloom. So here are some of the best things that have been happening in July of 2024. So the University of Maine wants to disrupt the housing market by 3D printing low-cost houses from recycled materials like bioplastics that aren't made from petroleum, and even including wood pellets from sawmills that would normally go into the landfill. And they can print these houses every 48 hours with only 2 people operating the 3D printer, which is pretty cool and pretty effective. And right now they can make a 600 square foot house for about $40,000. And I looked on Zillow what a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 600 square foot condo or apartment or house would be in our area in Arkansas, which isn't even like a high cost of living state, and it was over $200,000 on average, and that actually surprised me. So it seems like these 3D printed houses could be a neat option that would be more affordable. Also, there's been a bunch of Neuralink updates, which if you don't know what Neuralink is, it's a company that puts computer chips in people's brains, which sounds really dystopian, right? But it actually has a lot of really neat effects. Like they're first using it to help paraplegics be able to do basic tasks, control a mouse that can control a computer that they're controlling with their mind, and eventually they can connect it, or they think they can connect it to people's eyes and make blind people be able to see and do all these crazy things, maybe even have your brain controlling some prosthetic arms and legs and things like that. So there's a lot of really neat effects that this could bring about, and sure, they could take over your mind and all that, but there's a lot bigger things to worry about, and there's people don't talk about the positives of all these like AI and technology things. And in other news, there's some university students creating an AI system that will help avoid deer collisions, because there's like 10,000 accidents in the US with deer collisions, and about 200 of those are fatal. And I've been in a wreck with a deer myself, and it destroyed the front of this van, so they're no joke. And so the system's pretty neat, because the way it works is it'll emit a high frequency that only the deer can hear, and it'll scare them away if there are cars present when they're trying to cross, because that way when it's off, they can cross without having to worry about it. And so this system will detect when there are both cars and deer present and scare off the deer, because a lot of the deer even crossing when there's not as many cars going, like at dusk and dawn, and so it's a pretty neat system. And also recently the Vatican committed to becoming the first country that uses 100% renewable energy, which isn't a whole lot since it's like the smallest country in the world, but it's still something, and it's nice to see the Catholic Church in headlines for good things and positive things. And the Pope released this letter titled Brother Sun, which actually comes from his namesake of St. Francis, who wrote the Canticle of Brother Sun and Sister Moon and Mother Earth and all this hippie stuff. And so it's pretty neat that the largest religious organization on Earth is sort of setting the standard. And I forget the timeline on when they're planning to do it, but they're planning to go 100% renewable. And Mr. Beast, who needs no introduction, and Mark Rober with Team Seas cleaned over 34 million pounds of trash from the ocean, which is really neat, because, trash in the ocean throws off the whole ecosystem and kills animals and affects the oceans, or the planet's what? I forget all the statistics, but isn't it like 70% water? So it's really important to have clean oceans and get all those carcinogenic, I said that right on the first time, carcinogenic microplastics out of the ocean and keeping it from killing all the life. And so it also goes without saying that Mr. Beast is just such a cool guy making neat content. A lot of people don't know about his philanthropy channel, and so check that out. It's more than just the game show stuff and his, typical things, and it's really cool. Also, they recently discovered these caves on the moon, which is neat because they can build a basin there, kind of seal it all up and create a whole system so you don't have to bring in all these raw materials to build a base. And that's just like every young boy's dream. I don't know, it was mine to live on a moon base, sounds awesome. I'm sure it would get boring after not very long, but it'd still be super cool, and I would totally visit it. So that's exciting. Just to, it's one more step towards interstellar travel and just learning more about our place in the universe. And the spirit I've been lifting as I've been going through this happy news is the old Monday whiskey, classic staple in my house, just because I'm a whiskey guy and I need something with a bit of a kick, and some of the non-alcoholic whiskeys are a bit too watery, and this one's nice and spicy, so check it out. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'll never ask people to like my videos because that's just too grovelly for me, but I will ask people to subscribe because I want to show you what I'm doing, what I'm interested in, and if you're interested in it too, I'd love to share more with you. And another event that has already been widely covered, but the Trump assassination attempt. And so I personally do not like the guy at all, but I'm really glad that the bullet missed. I would not wish assassination upon anybody, and I mean, things are pretty crazy as is, but I think they'd be a lot worse if he did get assassinated. There'd be a bunch of riots, and yeah, so I just think it's better off that we have fair and free elections. No, that's a joke. Should I keep that in? I probably will just keep it in. I'm gonna roll. I'm all for exercising your right to vote. Okay, no wait, this is too not positive. This is supposed to be happy news, damn it. Okay, so what I was getting at is just that I am glad that there was not a successful assassination attempt, because in the US we should have elections and not kill people that we disagree with. And on one more political note, another event that happened was the stepping down of Joe Biden, and another guy I'm not terribly fond of, but I do think it's worth commending that he had the decency to step down. A lot of countries, there's people who hold on to power and never let go even when they should, and yeah, sure, you can say he was forced out, but still ultimately he was the only one who could make that choice. So I think that's worth applauding. So that's the first edition of Happy News. I hope that it was inspiring and encouraging, and I'll see you next time in August, I guess.